So I'm back with the stitching part. I don't know how I missed this part. Anyways, I need to stitch this part, then I'll show you what I mean by this. But of course I can glue it, but anyways, I'll just stitch it. So I have shown how I have cut down these larger envelopes, and they were a little bit wider. Basically I just trimmed them on the sides, and now I have 3 of these envelopes forming the 3 bases or the backs. Now what I realized when I was working on the cover is that I found that the cover to be a little bit less sturdy than to my preference. So I have cut down a piece of cardstock. This is a single-sided cardstock. It's not very thick, but it's pretty thick, sturdy. And also I kept in mind the color scheme so that it doesn't look out of place. So now what I'll do is I'm going to glue this on the back of this paper, the trifold journal cover that is already provided in the Pink Watercolor Christmas kit. So I'm just going to glue this, but I'm not going to glue it entirely. So when I stitch into sections, what I do is either I make separate sections, separate portions, or if I'm using a single sheet of paper, then I do not glue all the sections at the same time. I'll show you why I say that, because once you fold this, what happens, it adds bulk to the cover, and then the paper is pushed to the next section. So what happens is, if you do one section at a time and then you fold it, it is more precise and better. That is why I have not trimmed the extra on this side, but I have cut the length down to the preference that I want. So I'm just going to take this off. So I'm sorry, I don't know if it's making sense at all, but to me it does, and I have learned this through my mistakes, and I also don't want you people to make the same mistake. Okay, so it is a little bit crooked, but we'll figure that out. So I have this portion layered. Now what I'll do is I'll take a ruler and I'll just give it some kind of shape, you can say, because unless you train this thickish paper, it's not going to fold very easily. It's going to bulge up at places, and it will not look nice, even though basically you won't be able to see this background too much, but still. So after I have folded this section, only then will I glue the next section. So you can see for yourself that I have inked it up, and that is for my convenience. And I'm not going to glue the entire panel, because I will sew around the cover so that it is a little bit sturdy. And of course, that way you also get to train the paper to fold. So this is how. Now it is a little bit peeking out from the bottom. It doesn't matter, because I will trim them after I have figured out the sections. Okay, so this is the last part, and I'm going to be gluing again very lightly, because as I said, I'm going to be stitching around it. Okay. Okay, so now I need to take this part off. Okay, so I hope you people like this watercolor kit, because it has been made with a lot of care and love. I know each of the designers who create kits, they do put in a lot of effort, and I realized more of that once I started designing. So this is how it's going to be. You can turn any paper into a trifold journal of sorts, but I since I have already provided this in the kit, I went with this. You can use any paper. So this is going to be a trifold journal. Okay, so we're going to figure this out, and that's it. Okay, and now for the insides, what I have done is, now I will stitch around this and then trim off the extra. So for the insides, as I promised before, we're going to be 3 envelopes like this. Initially I thought they will form the cover itself, but then I changed my mind because I found that it was not sturdy enough. It depends on the quality of the envelopes basically, and since you'll be closing and opening all the time, considering that fact, I would rather prefer a sturdier cover. So this is how, and you won't get to see the, you know, the blank white paper at the back also, and it's pretty sturdy. So what I did was I basically trimmed off the extra, folded up, reshaped the lip portion, made a small thumb notch over here, and now you have 1 pocket and 2 pocket. And now what I'm thinking is you can make this into a 3rd pocket. If you decide to keep one of the sides open, then this can pretty well become another pocket. So that way this can be done also. Okay, so now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch around this cover, which is pretty sturdy now, and trim off the extra, ink around the edges, and then I'll show you how I plan on gluing these down. Okay, so I'll be back after I have stitched this journal cover, just to show you how it can be assembled. Okay, so another tip that I would like to give is, when you're making a trifold and intend on sewing the spines, the spine part, try to, I don't know why it's not focusing. Okay, so try to stitch the spine first, so that again it pushes the paper towards the outside, and when you're layering on top of each other, 2 or 3 or whatever sheets, it makes more sense and the finish comes out pretty good. So I thought of sharing this tip. So I have sewn in the spines first, and then I'm going to stitch all around it. Okay, so now this is finished. I've stitched all around it, and now we're going to ink this a little bit, and I'm using gathered twigs. If you have been following my channel for a while, you know that gathered twigs is one of my favorite distress ink, and this is the distress oxide that I'm using. And personally what I found was distress oxides blended more better. Once they came out, I realized the difference, but of course you can do it with your distress inks. You don't need to discard or throw them or anything of that sort. But I'll probably put some fabric on the spine. One, because it adds a little bit of texture and dimension, and the other being it adds to the sturdiness. Okay, so I'm going to be, now you must be wondering why I have this jute twine tied to this, because I keep on losing my ink daubers, blending tools, and so I tend to tie a twine around them, so that even if they get buried in paper, I'll definitely be able to find them. Okay, so this is a very cool way to make, and I am a sucker for trifold covers. I don't know why. There's so much to do with them. Basically you can make accordion style ones. You can, so now is the time. Okay, so now I also have to ink on the insides. A little bit is showing through, but that's okay, I guess. But I'm going to trim this. This is a huge scissors that I recently bought, and it's so sharp, my goodness. It can cut very quickly, and it's very precision oriented kind of scissors, so that's another thing. And now I'm going to bend this so that whatever little you can see will be inked, and there's going to be a nice tinge to it. Of course, you can use any ink color that you want, but personally I like the gathered twigs. Then again, I'm going to fold this, and so since they have been stitched, they will sit very nicely with the envelopes and the covers. I have seen the finishing come out very nicely, and that is why I prefer to stitch the journal covers. Not that I always do so, but most of the times I do it. So now we have the cover more or less ready, and now let's figure out the envelopes. Now the envelopes will be lined like this, and again what I'll do is I'll just figure out how they're going to be placed. So this is how it's going to be looking. So I'll probably glue the middle part totally, and then I'll think about whether I'm going to keep you know, one side open or not. I have not decided that yet. So let's start the gluing process. So let's do the middle part first. I don't want to okay, so for the middle part, what we can do is we can create a top open hidden pocket sort of thing, because it's going to be difficult to access from the sides. So let's do it this way. So we'll have the benefit. Again, I have to touch the glue. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of doing this part, but you know, when you're making journals, you have to do certain things. You can't just skip those parts. So this will probably be a top loading pocket, and I'm just going to push this a little bit. Okay, so I hope everybody is doing well, and this is probably the second part of constructing the cover, because otherwise the videos will get too long. And over here what I'll do is I'll just glue the three sides, leave this side open. Okay, so let me glue this side so that I don't glue the wrong side. Okay, if I want, I can put a velcro in later on, but not right now. Right now this is working perfect. Okay, so you can see you have another pocket over here, and of course these envelopes. So I have not done any journal like this, any journal cover, so this will be a new experience for me as well as you people, you ladies, as my viewers. I have done envelope journals, but not of this kind. So this wasn't first for me also. Like, I usually do not like to do any experiments on camera, because you know, you don't know where that's going to lead. It might be a happy accident, or it might be a total disaster, but we'll see what happens. So I'm going to put this down on this side. So now I hope you can see it, what I mean by that. Okay, So what we have is, I'm going to push this a little bit. So we have the 3 envelopes ready. Now I can add Velcro or some sort of closure, but for now we are done, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to let this dry. I could have stitched it also, but I found that this process is easier because you get to see you know, step by step instead of doing all at once. So this is how the trifold will look, and look how gorgeous it is. And now we need to figure out the journal that's going to go inside. Okay, so that's going to be the next part where I work on the journal pages. I'll gather up the pages and I'll just walk you through the entire thing. You can create 2 signatures over here, and then you can just close this up, or you can create a single signature and have tons of ephemera. Maybe you can add another pocket over here, whatever, but I have not decided that yet. So let's see how things go. And I kind of like how it has turned out. This was exactly what I had envisioned, and you can use it as an ephemera folio also, or folder. So if I put in tags like this, it's eventually going to be having a very filled out look. I'm going to be working on the journal cards next, so you get to see like this, and then you have the journal card, journal inside this. And you can use it as an ephemera folder or folio also. So this is how it's looking, and it will have a pocket over here and a tall pocket over here, and then these small tucks, you can say. We will be decorating these a little bit so that they don't look so bare. Not that they look very bare, but still, we're going to decorate them a little bit with the fussy cuts that we have and stuff like that. There's lots of ephemera that we can play with, and we'll create a Christmas journal sort of thing. Probably I will be adding a few laces also, but I'll show you how you can create your small lace clusters, or you know, lace clusters and lace tabs and stuff like that, and add them later on as you require. Like if you have not decided how you want your journals to shape up, you can obviously go back later on and add them, and I'll show you how I do that. So probably I have something over here, but this is too big. I don't want this. So I'll show you, like I'll probably be adding some die cuts or some fussy cuts over here to embellish the pockets, and I'll show you how I do that. And they will be, you can use them as tuck spots also in your journals. So also I'll show you how you do that. So I hope you people like this video. This is the trifold cover that you get with the Pink Watercolor Christmas kit, and you have enough to construct this. You have seen I've basically used one background paper, and this cover is already provided. And these were some scraps I had, and these were envelopes and cardstock pattern papers. Practically everyone has them, and you don't need to have exact same kind. Something very similar will do the job. You don't get to see it entirely, so you know, even if you don't like that paper too much, you can use it up. Okay, so this is how the trifold is looking, and I'm super happy and pleased the way things have turned out. I'll probably add a pocket over here, but we'll see how things go. Okay, so bye everybody, have a great day, and keep watching my videos. Don't forget to hit and likes, you know, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you everybody. Bye, have a great day.